Utah Beach provided a poignant reminder of what the word suffering truly means as the Tour's 198 racers massed at the start line in Normandy for the 103rd edition of Le Grand Boucle. It was apparent that this year's parcours would play to old school traditions, giving a chance for the sprinters to aim for another colour other than green.
Peter Sagan opens up his sprint, Cavendish reacts, Kittel comes through the centre, Kittel trying to get on terms with the Slovakian, and Mark Cavendish is going up the right hand side of the road. Cavendish has the front end of the race now. Cavendish is going to do it! Mark Cavendish has done it again!
Despite his immense palmarès, the one notable omission on Mark Cavendish's road racing resume had been the maillot jaune, but not any longer.
This race means everything to me, you know, and I've got my little family here now to do it with me, and maybe you'll do it one day, eh, Frey? Or you, Delilah? No?
Flowers for Delilah, and flowers also in memory of those who had fallen. Stage 2 was another day for the sprinters, although with its uphill finish into Cherbourg, one more suited perhaps to a puncher. Spare a thought for Alberto Contador, who tasted tarmac for the second day in succession. The last man standing in the day's breakaway, Jasper Stuyven, was reeled in with only a few hundred metres remaining, setting up a grandstand finish.
Bling Matthews gets to the front and Alaphilippe has moved past him. Sagan counters. It's between Alaphilippe and Sagan at this point. The world champion, no! He wins. Alaphilippe thumps his handlebars.
Team owner Oleg Tinkov once more doing his best to avoid the limelight. And the yellow jersey now on the shoulders of the man who wears the rainbow jersey. Even if he didn't know he'd actually won.
I was thinking in the front it's still two guys.
And despite Sam Bennett struggling across the finish line ahead of the broom wagon, still no abandons to report. Stage 3, and it seemed as if the peloton had decided to opt for a training ride rather than all-out attack. A case of Angers management after 2 hectic days. The lone breakaway, Armindo Fonseca, was eventually joined by Thomas Vauclair. But that was about as much of direct energy as we were about to see, at least until the sprint trains unloaded their weapons for the final sprint.
Greipel opens up his sprint. Sagan is on Cavendish's wheel. Now Cavendish goes. Can he get past Greipel? It's going to be close. Cavendish and Greipel. Cavendish and Greipel. You cannot split them. Mark Cavendish's face tells the whole story.
On the podium, pleasantries were exchanged between the two men with 28 stage wins each. Cavendish back in green by right and Delilah by now an old hand at the podium wave. After the rather pedestrian approach to stage 3, stage 4 was a more animated affair, even if once more it would all be decided in the final lunge for the line.
Here comes Greipel alongside Kittel, and Alexander Kristoff has hit the front. Can Kristoff hold on? It's the big powerful men. Watch out for Direct Energy and Brian Coquard coming on the right hand side of the road. The yellow jersey of Sagan is still there, but this is one for the powerful sprinters. It's Coquard and it's Kittel, and it's close once again.
After what seemed an eternity, the result was announced.
Marcel Kittel, he's done it again on the Tour de France.
Yeah! Jubilation for the German. It was time for the Tour to leave the flatlands and give some of the other 198 guys a chance to grab some glory. Any hopes Peter Sagan might have had of staying in yellow were dashed on the slopes of the Puy-Marie, as Movistar belatedly reacted to a breakaway that had well and truly got away. Sensing danger behind, BMC's Greg Van Avermaet attacked his fellow Belgian Thomas de Gent. And from there he rode away to the finish in Lorient and became the 3rd rider in this year's Tour to don yellow for the first time.
Stage win is something, but wearing yellow is the most beautiful thing, I think, for a cyclist.
Aside from Van Avermaet's significant lead in the GC, the main topic of discussion in the peloton had been the unwanted presence of GC teams at the front of the field during the bunch sprints. A lack of respect and a clear and present danger, the 2 clarion calls. But on the wide, straight boulevards of Montauban, there could be no possible hindrance in the search to discover the preeminent sprinter in this year's race.
Kittel opens up his sprint. Cavendish tries to come on terms with him, tries to get past him, battling with Alexander Kristoff as well in the mix, but it's between these two men, Cavendish and Marcel Kittel. Cavendish gets there, and he takes an extraordinary third win on a Tour de France that is becoming, for him, a tour of triumph.
Stage 7 and the first proper day in the mountains. As the sun beat down on the Pyrenees, the action was furious as rider after rider attempted to jump clear. Eventually, a 29-man group formed, and even though it contained the yellow jersey and Vincenzo Nibali, it was allowed to disappear up the road. By the time they reached the Cat 1, Col d'Aspin, making its 71st appearance in the Tour, that lead group had been whittled down to a select few. Sensing weakness, Dimension Data's Steve Cummings attacked, and on the Col switchbacks he was able to extend his lead. The descent into the finish at the Lac de Poyol, which had been expected to be decisive in deciding the outcome of the stage, instead became a coronation ride for the Wirral man.
Steve Cummings, enjoy this moment. You'll remember it for the rest of your life. This is a high mountain stage in the Pyrenees, and you have outfoxed the entire race.
Behind him, Orica Bike Exchange's Adam Yates went down in flames. Despite his bloodied chin, he would end up with outright second and the young rider's jersey as compensation for his pain. But for the self-confessed pain in the backside, pure, unadulterated joy.
Thank you, man. I know my pain in the arse, I sit on the back. Thank you, man.
Le champion britannique de 23 ans, Adam Yates.
From the presentation of the white jersey to Adam Yates, to the white-hot furnace of a multiple mountain stage, where reputations are forged and legends made. Portrayed by many as robotic, nicknamed the Death Star, all power, yet no panache to capture the romantic's heart. Once Tadej Brailsford's boys had swept up the breakaway on the bottom slopes of the fourth and final climb of the day, the Col de Périssord, we saw a different Sky altogether.
Now Sergio Henao from Team Sky decides to go.
It began with both Sergio Henao and Chris Froome throwing some punches, sometimes literally. And once the softening up had been done, the two-time Tour winner launched an astonishingly brave assault off the summit.
Froome's on one. He's ripped open a bit of a gap on the descent.
He may never be a great stylist, but Froome has a heart the size of the big ring he rode on. While BMC and Movistar dithered, Froome made his effort stick.
Chris Froome is riding himself to a stage win, and the yellow jersey on stage 8. Brilliant from Chris Froome, brilliant from Team Sky, who get everything right on the day.
Well, am I in yellow? I think so. Not yet confirmed. Not yet confirmed. I didn't expect it.
And for the team principal, vindication.
If you want to come and win the Tour de France, come on, guys. You know, use your team. That's the whole idea. You know, it's hold back. And yes, it's a long race and all that, but at some point, somebody's got to take a step forward and say, okay, I'm up for the fight.
Fighting talk, and with 5 out of 8 stage wins for British riders, why not? With the race blown wide open and Sky once more in the ascendant, what would Sunday bring other than another roasting day in the saddle? On the second climb of an already brutal day, a sight that surely nobody, not even his rivals, would want: the abandon of Alberto Contador. We can but hope that Alberto and the Tinkoff team car disappearing down the road is not the last the Tour will ever see of El Pistolero.
That is the meteorological apocalypse into which they are racing at the Ligne d'Arrivée. Tom Dumoulin, he's done it on the Tour de France. The yellow jersey has responded once again to everything that was thrown at him. Quintana, as ever, on the wheel of Froome. Yates is right there.